This is the inside of the Coachman VIP 520. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volts on the master button just here. Beside that we have water pump on and off. We need the water pump on to be able to get water out of the taps and fill the boiler if it has been drained down. We then have the main isolator for all of the onboard lights. These can then all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. And then we have awning light on and off just here. All other information is given via scrolling. Unfortunately, with this LCD screen, it does not pick up particularly well on camera, so I'll basically explain what I'm seeing. So at the moment it's displaying the time, and it's also letting us know that we're hooked up to main supply with a little picture of the plug just here. We then have internal temperature, condition of the leisure battery, and then we also have user settings. To get in the user settings, just press enter. And then within that you can adjust the contrast of the screen, you can turn the beeps on and off, you can adjust how quickly this screen goes into standby when you're not using it, and you can turn off the warning that would let you know if the leisure battery was low, the firmware that this is running, so the software, and then basically exit back to the main menu. If I now move across to the other control panel in this caravan, and this one is for the Aldi heating and hot water system. To turn it on, just press here, and on initial startup it will let you know if you have main supply connected, and it will also give you an internal temperature of the caravan. If I now press menu, it will then bring up its basic functions. So this first one here is for the thermostat for the heating, literally plus and minus, pick whatever temperature you would like it to be inside the caravan, and it will drop all the way down to 5 degrees for frost protection and go all the way up to 30 degrees. Beneath that we then have a shower head, and this is for your hot water. So hot water on, and then hot water in boost mode. Boost mode was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do put the water in boost mode and the heating's running, the heating will turn off as it needs to use that extra power. So even though now I've turned the heating on and turned the hot water on, the system hasn't actually fired up yet because we need to give it a power source. So if we're connected to main supply, we can run on mains, and that's what this one here is with a little picture of the lightning strike. So we can run it on 1 kilowatts, 2 kilowatts, or 3 kilowatts. So this is all just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If we don't have main supply, we can run on the gas. And what we can also do if we want to is run in dual fuel, so we can run on a mixture of both mains and gas. This is very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. A is for activated functions, and at the moment the activated function in here is just the room temperature sensor. To be fair, it's easiest just to leave it in auto. If I now press the cog, this will now go into the settings menu, and the first one we have here is night mode. We can turn night mode on and off just here. We can then set the temperature we would like it to be for that period. We can then set when we would like night mode to begin, and whether it's for all days of the week or just individual, and then when we would like night mode to end. We can, by highlighting this one here, invert the backlight, so the writing goes to white and the screen goes to black. We can also tell the boiler that we do not want any hot water throughout that period. This is very handy, especially if you're wild camping, because that way you're not wasting gas heating hot water whilst you're asleep. And then this one here is for that room temperature sensor. You can put it into what's known as like a night mode. If I now come back out of this one, we can then go into day mode, and then we have virtually the same again, but just for the daytime. Prioritize is what the system prioritizes in using when in that dual fuel mode. So at the moment it favors main supply over gas. If you were on an extremely low amp site, you can flip it on its head, so it basically uses more gas and less electricity. This one here is just to control the brightness of the screen. Again, we have the room temperature sensor just here. We then have set the correct time and day of the week. And if I now arrow down, we have this one, which is called Antimicrobial. This can only be used if you are using night mode as well. And then what will happen is, in the middle of the night, the boiler will come on and rapidly heat itself up to kill off any bacteria that may be in the system. Temperature offset for the internal thermostat. If you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly adjust it. High altitude mode just here. So if you are using the caravan 1,000 or more above sea level, just pop this on to make it run efficiently. Key beeps on and off here. One delayed start and stop to the system, so you can have it so the system fires up at, say, Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning and then turns itself off on Sunday at 12 in the afternoon. Pump settings. Just literally leave it as it is. You only want it in thermal mode, you do not want it in continuous. And then if we drop down again, full factory reset, so if there is a problem with the control panel, you can reset it. External start, you do have to have additional SIM boxes added if you wanted to control this via an app. Obviously change the language. Service, more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything is up to. Installed accessories. The only one that isn't really active on here, which can be handy, is this one here, which is load monitor. If I now go back up again, you'll see it appears here. And now if you know how many amps the site is that you're on, you can pick it. So let's say it's a 10 amp site. It then doesn't necessarily matter if you're running at 3 kilowatts because it will control itself. If I now move to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and now I begin to lift up, you'll see that we have the Aldi boiler just here. To drain the boiler down for either travel or winterization, it's just done on the 2 drain levers. So we have this one here on the red pipe, so this will drain down the hot feed. And then we have this one here in the blue, which will drain down the cold feed. Firstly, before draining, make sure that the water pump has been turned off, and then literally just flap up both of them, and it will then drain all the water out of the boiler. If you are fully winterizing the caravan, I then always suggest that you then also open up all the taps, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and help it drain off far more efficiently. When it comes to refilling, make sure the taps are closed. Reclose the drain valves. Fill up the aqua roll, drop in the submersible, turn on the master switch followed by the water pump, and then it will begin to reprime the boiler. Let it run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. Also underneath here is the Sargent alarm box. We then also have the solar panel regulator just here. We do not need to do anything with it. It will just smart charge the leisure battery as required. We then have the control board for the Power Touch motor mover. Some of the gas isolation taps for the appliances. So we have the cooker, heating and hot water, and fridge just here, all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the caravan, go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. We then have the consumer unit just here. So we've got the mains trip switches, so we've got the individual MCBs, the main RCD and test button just here. So if anything is not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if a fuse is blown. You will also find in here another fuse, which is just the fuse for the solar panel. The battery charger itself sits in this top section here of the consumer unit, so just make sure that it is kept ventilated. Underneath the other bench seat you will find storage, and you'll also find the ladder for the bunk bed. PIR sensor here for the alarm, and in the overhead locker just here you will find the radio on and off on the button that says SRC. This is USB and auxiliary compatible. To change tracks or search for radio stations, just press. Volume control just here. CD in here. Eject just here. If you need to go into its functions menu, just press the volume button in and then navigate by rotating, and then to get back out again just press the back button and then just turn back off again on the SRC button. This switch here just turns on the courtesy light on the side of the caravan. We then have TV plug-in points, so we've got the digital fly lead point, the satellite point, 12 volt plug-in, and 2 main sockets as well. The Thetford fridge turns on the square button just here. This is an automatic model, so as long as it's on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're currently hooked up to main supply, it's put us onto mains with the little picture of the 2-pin plug just there. If I was to now run outside and pull the mains lead out, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas, and as soon as we hitch up to a tow vehicle, it will then automatically go over to 12 volt maintain to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. As you can see, the screen will go dark again after a few seconds, but you can see that it's still operating on the little green light just there, and to bring it back up just tap the square. If I press here I can take it out of auto if I want to, So I can manually put it onto mains, manually put it onto 12 volt maintain. We're going to get an error code at the moment and a red flashing light because we're not hitched up to a tow vehicle. And I can manually put it onto gas. But to be fair, auto is the easiest one to have it on. Temperature control just here. Microwave in this overhead locker just here. This is an eco-friendly microwave, so you do need to press eco to wake it up. We then have quick start and stop just here, auto cook up the top, and then we have the usual defrost, etc. power settings. Beneath that you'll find the electric hot plate. Again, like the microwave, will work when connected to main supply, and it operates on this one here, and the red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. We then have the 3 gas rings, and to light these, just push in, twist round and press the igniter. Beneath that is the grill. And then the oven. Beneath the oven there is storage, but you will also find a plug plugged in, which is just for the electric hot plate. Above my head is the Omnivent fan. To use this, firstly wind the roof vent open. And then the middle button turns the unit on. And then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling in its variable fan speed just by pressing. Always make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. We then have the dinette just here. This can be converted into 2 beds. To do this, firstly we need to just lift up and take the table off. And then once it's been taken off the wall, just fold the leg down like so. If I now just remove all of the cushions out of the way. Now to make the top bunk, firstly lift both of these parts up. And then it's just a matter of grab and hold, pulling towards you. And then flipping over like so. Once you've done that, reclose to lock them into place. And then underneath you will find poppers that need to be undone. And then once you've done that, you can then lift up and drop over. And then clip the poppers to the walls. Next, we now just need to add on the boards. As you can now see, the boards just slot in. With this one just here, you've got this that just flaps across to stop it being kicked off. And then this one just slots in. And then the ladder just drops onto these 2 points just here. And then you have the fold out mattress just here. To make the lower bed, the table just needs to drop onto this section just here. And as you can see, the seat cushions basically go back where they were, and then the backrests just fill in the gap. At the rear of the caravan, we've got the wardrobe. Also in here you will find the header tank for the Aldi heating system. Just make sure that the fluid is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once the heating is up to temperature, as it will expand in the tank. If it does need any topping up, you can do this yourself just by removing the top and just taking out the circulation pump. If you are going to do this, make sure you are using the correct Aldi top-up solution, this particular one being the pink one. Also in here is the TV aerial. So we've got the digital amplifier just up here, on and off just here, and then control the boost just here. This is the one that goes directly to the outside feed in the battery box. To use the TV aerial, undo the collar and then just push up. This little green window here just represents the back of the aerial, so you know which way it's pointing. Once you've got it in a position you require, lock back into place. The H stands for horizontal. You can flip into a vertical position if you need additional tuning, and the way you do that is just by turning the tail just here. Always make sure that the aerial is down for travel. We then have the basin. And the cassette toilet just here. So the bowl does swivel all about. Open to the cassette on the grey lever just here, and then push to flush on the blue button just here. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close back up again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out, so if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left it open. We then have the shower cubicle. Do make sure that the shower screen is fully secure for travel. The freestanding table is just located in here. With the front beds you can have either two singles or a double. If you're going to have a double, just lift up and pull the section across, and then it's just a matter of dropping in the backrests